Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Welcome back to Just a Guy Reviews. I'm Matt Sulla, and today I'll be doing my favorite movie of all time, Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park, starring Sam Neill as Dr. Alan Grant, starring Laura Dern as Dr. Sadler, starring Jeff Goldblum as Ian Malcolm. These are the three that we've come to know and love and really associate with Jurassic Park, obviously, as well as the dinosaurs. I say this about Steven Spielberg all the time. He has this way of just getting the child out of you. Like every time, I don't care how old you were when you saw this movie for the first time, you were in awe. You were just like, holy shit, he brought dinosaurs to life. This guy's literally putting dinosaurs in front of me right now. And it's like the greatest in my opinion. Like, they've created all this different new technology to make this work, to make it look as real as possible. And in my opinion, it's the greatest thing that's ever been done in movies, is bringing dinosaurs to life. I love dinosaurs. As a young kid, I was obsessed with it. One of the four things a young boy is going to be obsessed with. As you can see here, I have my poster for The Land Before Time. Probably the introduction to dinosaurs for me, and then Jurassic Park just nailed it home. Like, I still love dinosaurs to this day. I have a few books about them, listen to a podcast. Like, I think they're just so cool. They're real life monsters. What more do you want? Like, but this movie is so good. The plot: a pragmatic paleontologist touring an almost complete theme park on an island in Central America is tasked with protecting a couple kids after a power failure causes the park's clone dinosaurs to run loose. I mean, first of all, I know I've already said this, but Spielberg brought dinosaurs to life. Spielberg is basically Dr. Hammond in this movie, played by Richard Attenborough. I believe brothers to David Attenborough, the Blue Planet guy and Planet Earth and all that. But Spielberg is Attenborough. He's the mastermind behind bringing these dinosaurs to life. This is his creation. He obviously has the people, like in the movie, in the lab that actually bring them to life. That would be his graphics team and everything. But he is Attenborough trying to bring this wonderful new just awe to an audience. Attenborough even says, like, for the park, when it opens after the beta run, that this is not just for the uber rich. He wants this to be for everybody. He wants little kids from all over the world to be able to come in, have and experience this once in a lifetime thing. It's such a beautiful idea. And then, like most things, what can go wrong will go wrong. You have disgruntled employees who are basically sabotaging everything, makes the power go out, making these dinosaurs run loose. And it's so good because it starts off like showing you the good dinosaurs, basically. Well, except for the beginning, where you don't really see the dinosaurs, but you see the velociraptors basically attacking some of the workers. But they really drag you in with the brachiosauruses, the triceratops, like all of these herbivores or omnivores that are not uber violent. And then when the power goes out and you see the tyrannosaur for the first time, which is just an all-time moment in movie history, you realize you like forget, you got lured into this sense of security that everything's going to be okay. And then the big guy comes out, Rexy comes out. You see the actual carnage that these things can cause. Like, it's a 25-foot carnivore just looking to hunt, looking to eat. I mean, we do know now, after 30 years, 31 years since the movies come out, that maybe not all the science is exact, but you don't care. You don't care because you're in such wonder. You don't care about the continuity errors in this movie. You don't care about that cliff couldn't have been there. The T Rex just came from there. You don't care that there are cameras in the background. You don't care about any of that because all you care about is, wow, dinosaurs, I'm a kid again. And he's so great at that. Once again, I said this before with Jaws, I've said it with E.T. It's the greatest duo to ever live, or live, not live, just be together. It's the greatest duo in Steven Spielberg and John Williams, putting together the visuals and the sound to just give you goosebumps. I get goosebumps every time I watch this movie. It shows that really like anything is possible. It shows you that not all good ideas are good ideas, no matter how much you think. And it's to me the most rewatchable movie of all time. I've seen it more than any other movie I've ever seen. It's the movie I'll just put on in the background if I need background noise for something, whether I'm doing work, whether I'm just looking at my phone. If I don't know what to put on, I put on Jurassic Park. I mean, the acting, it's not going to blow you away. It's not like watching Heat and you don't have any, scenes where De Niro and Pacino are talking to each other in the diner and like it's just A-class acting, because it is still a blockbuster, but it's a blockbuster that is still a great movie. All the like great, memorable, remarkable scenes have the dinosaurs because they're the focal point of the movie. You need to remember that they are characters as well. But the driving force is still the people. Like a lot of newer Jurassic Park, Jurassic World movies, they skimp out on the people storyline just to have the dinosaurs. Any Godzilla movie you've ever seen, the people suck, and you just really care for Godzilla. But this movie does such a good job of setting up the characters, the character development, making you care about them, wanting them to escape. How are they going to get out of this? It's such a perfect blend of entertainment, drama, everything. I think, in my opinion, it's 100 out of 100. Obviously, it's my favorite movie of all time. I don't think there's ever going to be a movie that's going to top this for me, because not to mention it has the nostalgia factor that, nostalgia is probably the most powerful drug in the world. That's why they keep rebooting things. They just announced a seventh movie in the Jurassic franchises in pre-production. They're working on the script. This movie just, it hits all the right notes at the exact right time. That's the beauty of Spielberg. Spielberg, I think, is the greatest director to ever do it. The same year he made this movie, the same exact time, he's making Schindler's List. He's making this popcorn blockbuster movie about dinosaurs. And over here, when he's done there, he's working on a Holocaust depressing, like, historical epic movie. Not epic in like the sense of like it's wow, like holy shit, like Lord of the Rings, but epic as in it's 3.5 hours long about the Holocaust. And it's the fact that he's able to do both of these at the same time, I personally think is the greatest achievement a director has ever had. It's the best year a director's ever had. I think it's beautiful. Weird about this movie, I think, a little bit is, I think most people would put it up there as one of the most iconic scores of all time by John Williams, the da na 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 na, and yet not nominated for best score. You know what won? John Williams for Schindler's List, which I think is a little wild. I don't even know what the Schindler's List score is, but it's not as iconic, not as legendary, not as good as Jurassic Park. That was a little strange. It did win a couple, under the line stuff, best visuals, best sound, as it should. It is really a perfect movie. It's one of those movies that if someone tells me they've never seen it, I'm like, come over, we're gonna watch it later, because I can watch it 100 times in a row. I'm on my way to watch it 100 times. I probably watch it once a quarter, which I've probably done my entire life. It brings out the child in me. Not that it like necessarily reminds me of my childhood, but I just feel like a kid when I'm watching this movie. I feel like a kid just staring up at these dinosaurs going, oh my God, they're real. oh my god, this and that. Every time I watch it, I Google like how hard it. Like I know you got to go to school and get like a science degree to become a paleontologist, but every once in a while, like every time I watch it, I just like Google paleontologist digs like volunteers and like see if there's anything like that I can do. It just seems so cool. Aside from the fact that you're staring at rocks all day, like you really got to find something for it to be worth it. But I imagine that's got to be one of the greatest feelings in the world. Um, but let's get into the topics and awards that I have for this movie. We're going to be going over best performance, best line, and best scene. And then I'll talk about whether or not it should have been nominated or won best picture. First off, we have best performance. Nominees are going to be Sam Neill as Dr. Alan Grant, Laura Dern as Dr. Sattler, sorry. Then we have Jeff Goldblum as Ian Malcolm, Richard Attenborough as Hammond, and then I'm also going to give it to Wayne Knight as Nedry. This movie doesn't exist without that character shutting down the park and all the dinosaurs escaping. So he probably has the most important part to the movie because you don't have the movie without him. But best performance, I'm actually going to give it to Sam Neill. He was the perfect fit for this because they did have a couple other actors in mind. They had who the fuck's Indiana Jones? Harrison Ford. They had Kurt Russell and a couple others who names escape me at the moment. But Sam Neill, I think, was perfect because if you had those other guys, I think at this point in time they're too big. They're too big of stars. They're too big of a name. Sam Neill's still a big name. He's even in a movie that was nominated for Best Picture this year in The Piano. Still a big actor, but like he doesn't distract you from the movie. Doesn't distract you from the dinosaurs. If Indiana Jones was there with the dinosaurs, you would be a little taken out of the movie, I think. I mean, I don't love Indiana Jones, so I think it would have been fine for me, but I think most people would just be sitting there going, that's Harrison Ford, which I think is a big testament to Sam Neill. He's not Sam Neill in this. He is Dr. Alan Grant. Like, he is that character. I think he has such a great performance. He had more range, more physical stuff than anybody else. I think Sam Neill is the best performer in this movie outside of the dinosaurs and obviously Spielberg, who I don't really count because he's not on camera. Now we have the best line of the movie. There are a couple in here. Some are a little longer. Some are short, but they're iconic, so they have to be included. Again, 5 nominees. Nominee number 1 is Ian Malcolm saying, "Life finds a way." It's so iconic. It's become a meme. It's pretty much the tagline for the movie. In retrospect, like that's what everybody says. Life finds a way. It's such a perfect, especially in the scope of his little monologue at that point. It's so good. His little the only only Jeff Goldblum could do that little stutter and it works perfectly. Nominee 1, Life Finds a Way. Next, I have also Ian Malcolm. This one makes me laugh every time. It's, yeah, but John, if Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, the pirates don't eat the tourist. So funny. Perfect. Basically foreshadowing for the entire rest of the movie. It's so good. I find it so funny. Perfect line. Ian, line machine. Great character. Good comic relief a lot of the time, but also with like so much logic that he is basically right the entire time. Next, I have Alan Grant. This one, a little more for me. This one is They Move in Herds. I knew they moved in herds. It's so great because like he's a paleontologist. He's been going his whole life basically just coming up with theories about these creatures. We obviously don't actually know everything about them, how they acted, all this. But as a paleontologist, you're doing all this research, you're putting together ideas, and he had the theory that they just moved in herds. And when he finally sees it in front of him, just like confirming all of his thoughts and the smile that he gets, like the fact that he's like, yes, my work is not pointless. Like I was right. I can confirm this. It must be such a wonderful feeling. And not to mention, in hindsight, like I always think of Ted 2 now, where they come across this giant field of pot, and Ted, he does it. They start playing the music, and he says, "They move in herds." I knew they move in herds. I find that so funny. So it's a little twofer there with that one. Next nominee, we have Muldoon, basically the safari captain or like head of security for keeping these things in line. Is when he's hunting the velociraptors in the woods. He's got the gun. He's looking down the scope. He's got one in his sight, ready to shoot, and right from the side comes the other one, as also foreshadowed in the beginning when Grant is telling the kid, like, "Hey, you think one is in front of you?" And then all of a sudden, they attack from the sides. It's exactly what they did. Kept one as a decoy, comes from the side, but that's when he delivers the line, looks at her, goes, "Clever girl." Perfect. Also iconic, also became a meme, but just so good, had to be included. Another one I like a lot is when they get in the cars and they're going into the park for the first time. Like, what's going to be the actual attraction that you do is when they get to the big gate, big Jurassic Park logo. Gate opens, and Ian Malcolm again says, "What do they got in there? King Kong?" Already know there are dinosaurs there, but just like, King Kong. Love it. But my pick for best line of the movie.
No, I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
It's just it's the most iconic. It's perfect. It hits the way that he delivers. The line is absolutely perfect. The little stutter, like I said, only Jeff Goldblum can do that. It was a perfect point in the movie. Life Finds a Way is the winner. Next up, we have best scene. Narrowed it down to 5 of my favorite scenes of the movie. Could have added so much more, but these are the ones that I think are the best. Obviously, all of them involving dinosaurs, oddly enough. But first, we're going to be going with when Alan and Ellie and Malcolm and all of them are driving through the fields for the first time. They're all just like looking at the maps. And finally, Alan Grant looks up. He stands outside of the top of the Jeep, which obviously doesn't have a roof on it, removes his sunglasses, and he just has this face saying like he's in shock almost. He doesn't know what to do. Grabs Ellie's head, turns as she looks up, and then the camera pans over to the brachiosaur. And it's the first time you see dead on a dinosaur in this movie. It looks great. It looks like it's really there. Sure, I mean, the effects are from 1993. If you really want to like nitpick, it's not real. You know it's not real. But to me, every time I see it, I go, "Oh my God, that thing's alive." I think it's such a great scene. You have you have Grant pointing, "That's a dinosaur."
It's a dinosaur.
And then it all leads to Hammond, as you hear the clip in the beginning of this going, "Welcome to Jurassic Park." And then the crescendo hits for the music. It gives me goosebumps every time. That's the first nominee. Second nominee, we have when the T-Rex escapes the paddock. Nedry shuts down the power. The cars aren't moving. They're parked right in front of the T-Rex paddock. You see his little claw on the thing. Where's the goat? It's gone. The wires just go away, and out steps Rexy in all of his glory with his big roar. And it's raining, which is perfect, which is a late addition apparently, because the animatronic part of the dinosaurs were not designed to withstand water, but Spielberg said, "Fuck it, we're going to do it anyways." Had a bunch of issues doing it because of the water, had to like dry it off a few times, but when Rexy steps out, he lets out that roar. You're like, "Oh man, shit's about to go down. This is what I came to the movies for. This is cinema." That is the number 2 nomination. Number 3, also starring Rexy, it's the car chase scene where Sadler and Malone go and find Ian in the wreckage of the bathroom, and they pick him up. You know, they're still looking for the kids. They're looking for Grant. They're gone by now. You still like you hear the footsteps and you see the ripples in the water, which I did forget to mention for the when Rexy escapes the paddock. Iconic, just seeing the ripples in the cup in the car. Another little nitpick, like you're not going to have those open small cups of water just in the car. They would have definitely fallen by now, but whatever. I digress. But the chase scene, you hear him coming, you hear him roar. They get in the car, drive off, and Rexy's just chasing him. Crashes through the giant branch, slowing him down a little. They're able to just get away without anything bad happening. Rexy gives up, goes away for a bit. Awesome scene. The next, definitely the most tense of the scenes in the movie, it's the velociraptors in the kitchen with the kids hiding, crawling, trying to stay away out of sight from these velociraptors. Millions of years of evolution of the perfect hunting machines in a group. They work together almost like wolves, except just at least in this movie, more deadly, more powerful. It's so tense. They're talking to each other, they're communicating, and the kids just have to like throw in ladles, doing this, doing that. It's a perfect tense. It's the definition of suspense, in my opinion. And the final nominee, we basically have the ending. Rexy saves the day. It's Dr. Grant, Dr. Sadler, and the kids. They're all surrounded by the velociraptors at this point in the main hall where we see the skeletons that they were dug up. And right as one of the velociraptors is about to pounce and attack, here comes Rexy out of nowhere, stealthy as all hell, snatches him out of the air. All the humans are safe. The raptors direct their attention over to Rexy. The T-Rex, they start attacking him, and he's just brushing it off. It's like watching it's like watching WWE when they used to have like the Big Show standing there and all these like dudes who weigh 150 pounds trying to attack him, and he's just brushing him off. And the final roar at the end when the banner falls and it says "When Dinos Rule the Earth," and he has his big final roar. It's again cinema. It's perfect. Gives me goosebumps every time. I love this movie so much, but there can only be one winner for best scene, and here it is.
Dr. Grant, my dear Dr. Sattler, welcome to Jurassic Park.
The winner for best scene is when Dr. Alan Grant and Sadler see the dinosaurs for the first time, when we as an audience get to see the dinosaurs for the first time, when the iconic music hits, when you see the herd, when you see everything just going on. Like, this is Jurassic Park. Dinosaurs are real. It's my favorite. It gives me goosebumps every time. I think even though it's like 30 minutes into the movie, it's a perfect introduction to the park. It's a perfect introduction to why they're here, why we're at the movies. It's just a perfect way to set up this movie. I love it with all my heart. That is my best scene. Now, should this movie have won Best Picture at the 1994 Academy Awards? Honestly, no. Should it have been nominated? I think yes. Here are the nominees from that year. Remains of the Dead. Never heard of it. The Piano, actually also starring Sam Neill. In the Name of the Father. The Fugitive, and then Schindler's List. I mean, I'm assuming I know the Academy doesn't love big blockbusters. They don't really look at a movie like this and go, yeah, that's one of the best movies of the year. It's not exactly serious enough. It's not Oscar bait. But I think they should have at least nominated it. Like, cement this in history with nominations that this is the greatest year a director's ever had. Being able to make and release Jurassic Park and Schindler's List in the same year is an absolute, like, put it in the record book. It's an absolute accomplishment. It's a triumph. It's everything. This is why he's the best. Now, I'm sure they said, we can't give him 2. I'm sure that's exactly what happened. So they gave it to Schindler's List, which ended up winning. So Spielberg got his Best Picture winner. He got his Best Director. And, like, you can't really blame them for not putting both, but I think it's something they definitely should have done. I've at least heard of The Fugitive. I've heard of The Piano. I've heard of In the Name of the Father. I've never heard of Remains of the Dead. They could have just, like, tossed that out, put Jurassic Park in there. They could have put a couple other movies in there too, I'm sure, but I think Jurassic Park. Obviously, I'm a little biased. It's my favorite movie of all time. I think it's perfect, but I'm not upset that it didn't win Best Picture. It definitely should have gone to Schindler's List. Definitely more of an Oscars movie, more of an Academy movie, much more important movie, message-wise and everything. So they made the right choice. At least Spielberg got the win this year for something. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to let me know in the comments what you think about Jurassic Park. Am I insane for being my favorite movie ever? Do you actually dislike this movie? I would love to hear a single reason why anyone would dislike this movie. But let me know what you think. Please remember to like and subscribe to the video. I'll be back soon with another movie review. Hopefully 2024 does give us some great new releases. I know I'm looking forward to a lot of them. But I'll be back soon with more movie reviews. Peace, guys.
Boy, no, I hate being right all the time.